Hello, this is Pat, and tonight I'm talking about DBT, otherwise known as Dialectical Behavior Therapy. And I am going to ask you to get a piece of paper and please print your first and last name at the top. I need to know the date. The type of group is DBT. Anyone with substance abuse or any services that you're attending here at PATS, you can attend this group. I need to know that you are either paying by insurance or cash, or if you are going to pay by card, check, how you're going to do that. And you can send all that information. You can text me 217-766-9132. You can email me, pat@changeisachoice.org, or you can mail it 300 South Broadway, Suite 110A as in Apple, in Urbana 61801. And that's addressed to PATS, P-A-T-S. Okay, tonight we are going to talk about balance. We're going to talk about being open-minded, and we're going to talk about how to be as effective as we possibly can in our interpersonal relationships. Those of you who attend DBT or who have attended in the past are aware that dialectical means being open-minded, being balanced in our thinking. So first of all, open-minded. Open-minded means I'm going to look at both sides. I'm going to look at the big picture. I am going to avoid tunnel vision, and I'm going to avoid closed thinking. So, closed thinking. Closed thinking is when only my way is the right way. I don't see any other way. There is no other solution. Everything is either all black or all white, all good or all bad. There is no in between. There are no gray areas. Also, looking at things as either or. It's either this or it's that. So, we're talking about being balanced rather than being extreme in our thinking, in our emotions. We are looking at what are the things that get us caught up. What are the things in life that make us feel miserable? And for some of us, makes us feel as if life is not worth living. We are looking for ways to make our life worth living, to live the best life that we can. When we are closed-minded or have closed thinking channels, we are not able to see all that lays out there for us. We're not able to see options. We can only see one point of view, and that's ours. We are not aware that others also can be right, that they have a point of view, I have a point of view, and that there is truth in both sides. It's looking at the big picture. What is really going on here? Realizing that what I think is not always totally correct, and being willing to pay attention to that. It's looking at ways to catch ourselves thinking in a way that sets us up. For example, always, must, have to, never, should, shouldn't. Those are words that imply judgment, either good or bad. Life is not good or bad in this sense. We are looking at finding the truth in both sides. We're looking at emotions and not labeling them as good or bad. They are emotions. They come and they go. We don't label them. Everybody has emotions. They are a state of being. We don't have to act on them. It's looking at getting what we want, getting what we want, getting the thing we want, and how to get that. What are some of the ways to get the thing we want? Interpersonal skills is how we get the thing we want. Knowing how to talk, understanding that other people also have feelings, needs, thoughts, opinions, and ideas. It's being open to that. It's understanding that if we want a good relationship, that we work at that. In other words, we treat them the way we want to be treated. When we're talking about relationships, it's looking at how do we want to be thought of when this conflict, this situation is over? How do I get the best relationship and how do I keep it? That too is about interpersonal skills. So there are three things that I look at: the way that I think, the way that I feel, the way that I present that. Do I think in a closed minded fashion that I am always right? Interpersonal skills. Do I know how to talk to people and treat people? Those are some important questions. So, right now, on your piece of paper, I want you to write down three interpersonal skills that you know you have. Could be communication, could be kindness, compassionate, could be being level headed, being supportive, treating others the way you want to be treated, talking to people in a respectful, kind, and compassionate manner. Write down what your skills are. Now, if you're having trouble finding them, then think about how you want to be treated in all aspects of your life. How do you want to be talked to? Do you want honesty? Are you honest? Do you want someone to tell you stuff? Have good communication? Do you have good communication? So, interpersonal skills, I want you to think about that. And if you find that in this area you are lacking, what would you like to do better? The other thing I want you to do on that paper is write down the word should, SHOULD, and should not. I want you to write the word must, MUST. I want you to write the words have to, HAVE, TO, have to. I want you to write down the word always and never. And in the next 24 hours, I want you to keep those where you can see them and just make a check mark if you use one of those in your thoughts or verbally. And let us look at how many times we do say those things. Because these are the way we judge ourselves and others. You're always late. You never do anything for me. Those are not truths because sometimes you do things for me. In fact, possibly often. So pay attention to those. The other thing I want you to think about is the last interaction that you had with someone, and you thought you were right and they were wrong. What was the focus of that conflict or discussion? And now I want you to write on one side, I want you to make a line, and on one side, I want you to write down where I was right, where you were right. And on the other side, any points at all that you can come up with where the other person was right. Because there's a kernel of truth in both sides. No one owns the truth. No one owns the truth. My point of view is not all right, and the other person's point of view all wrong. There's a kernel of truth in both sides. So paying attention to that and understanding that in the next interaction you have, look for the truth in the other side. Okay? So I've given you a few assignments. The other assignment is I want you to Google on your phone dialectical, Dialectical. And I want you to give me a definition. And then I want you to see how you can apply dialectics to your life. How can you open your mind? You see the other person's point of view. Now, in this day and age, right now, there's a whole lot going on, and everybody has an opinion about it. So think about that, and how can the other person also have a valid point? Opening our minds to live the best life we can live. We do well if we can have insight into the other person. When we live a life where we are always right and everybody else is always wrong, it's a miserable place to be. So when I can see your point of view, we both feel better. When you can see my point of view, we both feel better. Having a good relationship with others means feeling good. And when we walk away, we feel respected, and the other person feels respected. Also, the thought of us in their mind is a good one. When I walk away from a situation, I want to be thought of in a good way. That's part of keeping relationships. Whether it is the relationship with my boss, the relationship with my friend, the relationship with my lover, coworker, whoever it might be. To live the best life means being effective in our interactions with others. Non-judgmental, taking a non-judgmental stance, not judging right or wrong, good or bad, but instead looking for the truth in both sides, looking for the middle ground, not the opposites, looking for the gray areas, not black or white. Opening our mind to new thoughts, new ideas, new experiences. Opening our mind to those things. When we are able to stop judging ourselves and others, we feel better. Now, here's another point. Do not judge yourself for judging. In other words, if I catch myself judging others or judging my own thoughts and feelings as good or bad, don't judge me or the other person. Don't judge myself for judging others or myself. The judging thing is a big deal. We say, many people say, I don't judge. Oh, people judge. When somebody's walking down the street and walking toward you and you look at them, without realizing you're looking at that whole person and you are making a judgment. Looks like a happy person, sad person, mad person, a safe person, scary person, whatever it might be, we judge. When something comes out of somebody else's mouth, we judge. Does that meet up with our belief system and our point of view? If not, then they're wrong. So, looking at opening up, listening, putting ourselves in the other person's place, respecting them just because they are who they are, not identifying them or labeling them as all good or all bad. Nobody's all good or all bad. We have both within us. So, looking for what's the kernel of truth in both points of view. Okay, so I gave you a few things to work on tonight, and I hope that you will do that and turn that in to me. You can take a picture. Now, remember, what is dialectics? How many times do you say should, shouldn't, always, never, have to? When do you use those words, either in your mind or verbally? So keeping track of those. And then taking a picture and sending that in. The goal is, once we identify this, to X those words out of our vocabulary. Okay, X them out. Again, it takes practice, but when we realize that there is no should and shouldn't, he should be doing this, or he shouldn't be doing that, or she ought to know better. You're talking about an assumption that you have that everybody else has the same background and belief system. And in reality, we are all different human beings. We all have different backgrounds, walks of life. We have different training, and we have different ideas, beliefs, and opinions. Okay. All right. So take a minute, write those things down, send me a picture. You can email it at pat@changeisachoice.org. You can text it 217-766-9132. Okay? And I hope everybody is well. I must hear from you. I must know who you are. So make sure you print that person's last name. I need the date and the topic and the type of group. All right. Have a great evening, and I will talk to you soon.